Your next car just got more expensive. Not because of the dealer, not because of labor costs, and not because of government incentives. It's because one invisible material can add $1,500 to your EV, instantly. In the next 10 minutes, I'll show you the single material that can add thousands to your EV, why China controls most of the supply chain, and one mistake most EV buyers make, and how to avoid it. This is about lithium, battery costs, and your car. Here's what you need to understand immediately. China now controls the choke points of battery supply, refining, processing, and material imports. And that control is what determines prices at your dealership, not tomorrow, right now. Let me start with the basics. Lithium is the metal inside the battery cells that store energy. No lithium, no high-range batteries. It's that simple. But here's what most people miss. Materials are the majority of battery cost. And within materials, the cathode components, where lithium sits, are the most expensive part of the entire pack. Think of it like this. Your EV battery is a stack of costs. Raw materials at the bottom, cells in the middle, modules and pack integration at the top. Then the car itself. At every layer, lithium is embedded in the cost structure. So when lithium prices move, battery prices move. And when battery prices move, vehicle prices follow. This isn't indirect. It's mechanical. Now here's where control actually happens. Most people think control means mining. It doesn't. The real choke point is processing and refining. Let me walk you through the supply chain. Layer 1. Mining, extracting lithium from hard rock or brine. Layer 2. Concentrates, turning raw ore into spodumene concentrate. Layer 3. Refining, converting concentrates into battery-grade lithium chemicals. Layer 4. Cathode precursors, processing those chemicals into materials that go into cells. Layer 5. Cell production, building the actual battery cells. Layer 6. Pack integration, assembling cells into the battery pack in your car. China doesn't dominate every layer, but it dominates the layers that matter most. Lithium is mined in places like Australia, Chile, and Argentina, but the vast majority of that material is shipped somewhere else before it ever becomes battery grade. China. China controls the refining capacity. China controls cathode precursor production. And China controls the majority of cell manufacturing. So even when the raw material doesn't come from China, control still does. And here's the evidence. Even when ore comes from Australia or South America, a massive share of it is shipped to China for conversion into lithium carbonate or lithium hydroxide, the chemicals that actually go into batteries. This isn't accidental. It's strategic capacity built over 2 decades. This is the pattern you need to remember. Mining is global, but pricing power lives where processing happens, and that's China. Now let's talk about what happens when that control gets exercised. Lithium spot prices have swung violently since 2022. Sky-high spikes, big slumps, and now back into a rebound. That volatility isn't random. When refining capacity is concentrated, small policy decisions ripple globally. Mine slowdowns, environmental inspections, export licensing, inventory releases. None of these need to be dramatic. They only need to tighten flow. And when flow tightens, prices move fast. Here's how it works in practice. Automakers don't buy lithium spot. They buy cells months ahead. They sign long-term contracts for precursors. They try to hedge exposure. But when prices jump unexpectedly, those costs flow straight into the battery pack, often adding thousands to the final car price. And recently, we've seen exactly this pattern play out. Chinese policy moves, temporary mine halts, capacity controls, export rule adjustments, have tightened near-term supply and triggered price surges that hit automakers 6 to 9 months later. This is how supply chains quietly tax consumers. You never see the refinery. You never see the precursor plant. But you pay for both at the dealership. Let's make this concrete. Let's talk dollars. If battery pack costs are $100 per kilowatt hour, and you buy a 60 kilowatt hour EV, that pack costs $6,000. Now, if pack costs jump to $125 per kilowatt hour, which has already happened before, that same battery costs $7,500. That's an extra $1,500. And that's before anything goes wrong. And that's before dealer markups, financing costs, and insurance adjustments. Now let's decompose the pack. Materials, the cells themselves, are roughly 60% of total pack cost. And within materials, cathode and active materials, where lithium sits, are the lion's share of that bucket. So when lithium prices spike, it hits the most expensive part of the most expensive component. This is why battery costs can move faster than most people expect. But here's the layer almost no one thinks about: insurance. Higher battery costs raise replacement costs, and insurers use replacement costs to price premiums and total loss thresholds. So even if you never replace the battery, you still pay for its risk profile every month. This is how material costs follow you long after purchase. Let me give you two real scenarios. Example 1. New purchase. A young family walks into a dealership. They're comparing two EVs. Same range, similar features, but one has a battery pack that's $2,000 more expensive because of recent lithium price increases. That $2,000 gets financed over 60 months. With interest, it becomes $2,400. Add higher insurance premiums because of the replacement cost, and you're paying an extra $60 per month for 5 years. That's $3,600 total, just from battery material costs. Example 2. Used EV buyer, 8 to 10 years later. Now imagine buying a used EV. It's 8 years old. The battery has degraded. You get a replacement quote, $12,000. You bought the car for $15,000. Now you're facing a decision. Pay nearly the value of the car to replace the battery, or sell it at a massive loss because no one wants a used EV with a dead pack. This is the hidden cost of battery concentration. It doesn't just hit you once. It hits you at purchase, through insurance, and at replacement. So what happens next? Let me walk you through 3 plausible scenarios. Scenario 1. The shock. If export rules or licensing tighten, even temporarily, cell and material flows get choked for months. Prices spike, automakers scramble, delivery timelines extend. You see this as delayed orders and higher sticker prices. Scenario 2. The new normal: China manages capacity to stabilize its domestic industry. That can raise global prices while keeping supply available for local manufacturers. You see this as persistent cost pressure that doesn't go away, just a new baseline. Scenario 3. The substitution illusion. Alternative chemistries can reduce lithium demand long-term. Sodium-ion batteries, improved lithium iron phosphate formulations. But that transition is multi-year, and it won't make batteries cheaper overnight. It just shifts which materials matter. The pattern is the same: concentrated control, price influence, and consumer exposure. So what do you actually do with this information? Here are 3 rules. Rule 1. Assume batteries are a variable cost. Check battery pack specs and replacement cost before buying, not after. Rule 2. Favor models with flexible chemistries. LFP options, for example, use less lithium and have longer lifespans, or look for strong warranties that cover replacement. Rule 3. Compare total cost of ownership, not just sticker price. That means factoring in insurance, replacement schedules, and battery degradation. And I'll make this easy for you. I'm pinning a checklist in the comments. Battery kilowatt hours, chemistry type, replacement warranty terms. Insurer total loss thresholds. Use it before you sign anything. Lithium is small, but it's the part of the car the entire industry orbits. When choke points exist, they change prices, and your choices matter. Next video: Cobalt and your phone. How resource control shows up in your pocket, not just your driveway. If this changed how you think about EV costs, stay with this series, because when supply chains concentrate, the system quietly reprices, and you're the one paying the difference. Welcome to Geopolitics of Money.